All right, good morning. Thank you for waiting. Can we get your name, please?
Eladia Vazquez.
Good
Morning.
All right, good morning. My name is Parole Officer. It is Friday, January 17, 2025. This is hearing in the Connecticut Board of Pardons and Parole. Following board members are present this morning, and by stating their names on the record, certify they have reviewed all statutorily required documents and available for information in preparation of this hearing.
Good morning. I'm Jennifer Zaccanini.
Good morning, Mike Paul.
Deborah Smith Palmieri.
Good morning.
Please state your name and inmate number for the record.
My name is Eladia Vazquez. My inmate number is 383-843.
Thank you. This hearing is being conducted in consideration of the parole application for Eladia Vazquez, inmate number 383-843. She is serving a sentence of 18 years suspended after 6 years and 11 months with 5 years probation for arson first. As of today, record reflect parole eligibility date of January 22nd, 2020. 24, I want to confirm. 25. There is no victim input. There is an offender accountability plan for the offender. It has been reviewed and shows that she has completed the Voices program and the Beyond Violence program. Utilizing the Women's Risk Needs Assessment Warning, the offender's overall score for recidivity falls within the medium range. Ms. Vazquez, this is your opportunity to tell the board why you believe you should be granted parole. You may begin.
The person that I was before isn't the person that I am now. I made a big mistake when I was out there. You know, I apologize and I am sorry to my victims of what I did, and I shouldn't have did what I did. It was a mistake. I apologize to the community and to everybody that had anything to do with, you know, the arson that I did. It was a mistake. It was a piece of clothing that I lit on fire, and I didn't think that it was going to turn out to be something big. It was the biggest mistake I made, and I didn't mean to make it. And it took all these years away from everybody, and I'm so sorry. Being incarcerated made me realize everything that, you know, I lost, and not even just me, everybody else. It gave me structure, it gave me discipline, and made me not, you know, take things for granted in life, period. It actually made me become a better person, clear-minded, not use any drugs, street drugs, because it's not good for me. Stay on my medication, listen to, you know, what's good for me, what's not good for me, and actually get a connection with people that I weren't doing before. I was very isolated. I didn't have a connection with anybody. I was scared to. And I'm actually now, you know, a people's person. I go to groups and, you know, I have communication and I feel more interactive. Like, you know, I can go outside in the real world and not be scared of life or anybody else. And, you know, be more humble. I'm very, very more humble now. I wasn't humble before. I had a lot of anger issues. And I'm actually a very happy person now, you know, and the jail, sad to say, but it really turned me into a better person. And, you know, when I get out to the community, I can make something out of myself with my kids and see my grandkids I haven't seen in 5.5 years, and my mom and my dad. And, you know, apologize this to everybody. It was wrong for what I did, and I shouldn't have did what I did. You know, the ambulance had to come out there, and the fire people and the police department. Thank God nobody got injured or hurt. You know, 10 people did go to the hospital for smoke ventilation, but it wasn't as bad. I did leave. I did stay at the scene. I didn't leave. And I did get arrested about 7 at night, you know. So everything else was just tragic. People lost a lot of paperwork and, you know, stuff from the apartment and everything else. And besides that, I couldn't keep contact after, you know, if they got replacement in their apartments and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure they did, and I'm grateful, and I'm very, very grateful that they did, if they got, you know, roof over their head, because I couldn't picture myself, you know, doing that. I never thought in a million years I would be a person that did arson, you know. It was embarrassing to the community and embarrassing to my family and my kids. And I would just like a second chance in life to try to readjust myself and make a better person.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Vazquez, for your statement. We appreciate it. We do have some questions for you, and when we're done, we'll deliberate and give you our decision. Okay?
Thank you.
We'll begin with my colleague, Ms. Smith Palmieri.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Vazquez, for your opening comments. I do want to talk about the offense itself for a few minutes. You know, you're charged with arson first. There are very, very few offenses that are as serious as arson, and arson in the first degree specifically. Yes. So when I read the offense conduct, I did read that you did admit to starting the fire.
Yes.
I did read that you said that the reason you started the fire, it sounded like you were jealous. It was a jealous argument with your boyfriend that sort of precipitated it. However, you say that the other female that was involved, she threw a cigarette onto the fire, which made it go greater.
Yeah. Well, I guess the concept, well, it was so the clothing it was a piece of, I think it was a shirt and a panty and a pant that was in front of her door. And when I lit it on fire, I guess when she opened the door, she was smoking. So it just added on to what the fire, like from when it started. So it caught on the wall. Yeah. And from when it caught on the wall, because it was a brick building, so the inside of it just added more fume to the.
So let me just ask you, what did you think would happen when you lit those clothes on fire? Like, what is it that you were hoping to accomplish?
I wasn't thinking. And honestly, I was under the influence also, and I take responsibility for my actions. And I honestly, I don't know. I know I didn't think it was gonna be something, that like that. When I did notice, it was, I fucking, excuse my language, I freaked out, like I was in shock. Like, what the hell did I just do? Like I was in shock. I literally was in shock. I helped everybody out. I didn't leave the scene at all. I stood right there with everybody. And I kept saying, what the hell was wrong with me? I didn't think that, a piece of clothing at that state of mind you, a little before that, I just found my father deceased. So my mind, I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping. I used PCP, and it's not an excuse for anything I did. It's not an excuse at all. I take full responsibility of what I did. It's just, I don't know. I wasn't thinking.
So, Ms. Vazquez, as I said earlier, I did read that, when questioned, you immediately confessed, told them what you had done. So I do think that, you should get consideration for that. And you probably did get consideration, considering your sentence for an arson one. Essentially you're serving 6 years and 11 months. I think, that the judge probably did take that into consideration. I was very concerned to read about that you were using PCP, actively using when you committed the offense. You were unemployed.
Yes.
Why weren't you working?
I wasn't in a state of mind. I couldn't function. I wasn't on my medication. I wasn't stable. I was in the wrong relationship, an abusive relationship. I was trying to be a caretaker for him because he had grand mal seizures. So I wasn't focusing on myself.
So how are you supporting yourself?
His mom was helping me out. She has an income, and I guess she was receiving his SSI money or whatever. Okay. So she would buy me clothes and stuff like that for helping him out, basically, and buying groceries for the house and stuff.
But you hadn't worked in a very, very long time.
Yeah. I wasn't mentally ill. I wanted to work, but I couldn't work. It's just my mental was off, and it's because I wasn't on my medication. I haven't been taking meds for a while. And now that I've been on my meds for 5.5 years, I feel so good. I work in here. I've been a janitor. I do the common area, like in here, I'm good. I work and I feel like I think that's what I needed. I needed to rehabilitate myself, my body, my mind. You know what I mean?
All right. So you feel good today because we live stream so everybody can watch the hearings. So I'm not going to have you go into really any details about your mental health needs, But I am going to ask you, you said you mentioned already that you were taking medications and you do feel good today. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay.
Yes.
Excellent. So let's talk a little bit about some of the programs. You mentioned that you've been working as a janitor. How long have you been working?
Over about 2 years now.
2 years? Okay, good for you.
Thank you.
And you took the Voices program and you took the Beyond Violence program.
Yes, I did.
Okay, and you took one in 2021 and one in 2022. Tell me why you think those programs were important for you to take.
The Voices program was very important because it was more reflecting on the impact of the victims. So basically, I had to put my feet in the victim's shoes, and it was intense, but not as intense, really bad. And I liked it because I got a feedback of wearing the shoe, wearing the shoe on the other foot. And then the Beyond Violence was we were able to watch videos, and I had one of them with Rosie Perez in it, but it was videos on other inmates on their on their cases about the crimes that they committed, and it was something like serious crimes in different counties and stuff like that, and they were expressing their feelings of what they did and how they did and stuff like that. So it gave me like an impact on my case and what I had to do with myself to better myself and not to make another crime or become a worse person than what I had just did. Something just to change my life, basically.
Yeah. Those are very, very good explanations of both programs, especially the Voices program.
Yeah,
because the Voices program wants you to understand the harm of your crime. And it's not just a harm on one other person. In your case, it was 50-something people. 57. Right? Yeah. People hearing this fire alarm talk about PTSD, right?
It was bad, yes.
Yeah. So, and I do feel like, you got some good insight from the Beyond Violence program. You also had a tier program, an addiction services on your list. You haven't been able.
They didn't. The only two programs that I had to do was the Beyond Violence and Voices. I didn't have that addiction services on my OAP.
No, I have you on the wait list for addiction services. So it's on your list. It was added in September 2021. And that's when they added it. It wasn't on it originally when you first came in. And then they added it. And I have as of, I don't have the date that you were put on the wait list, but that you're on the wait list waiting to take the program.
No, from what I know of, I completed all my groups.
Okay.
And I didn't have that on my OAP. So if I would have had that, I would have completed that already.
Okay, so let's move on from that a little bit.
Okay.
And let me ask you a question. So you just told me how you were using PCP.
Yes.
You have a long history of drug use, right? Your drug score is a 4.
Yeah.
You were using PCP and other drugs too at various points. Do you think you would benefit from taking a drug treatment program?
As in the outside?
Inside, outside, just in general. Have you had one before, and do you think one would be helpful?
It would be helpful because when I leave here, I plan on staying on my medication. I plan on seeing a therapist. I also plan on staying clean. I'm not going backwards anymore. I lost myself and I lost a lot, and everybody else did. And I don't want to relive or rewind the person that I was before. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm 44 years old. My grandkids, I met 2 of them, and 2 were born and I haven't met. I'm not living that lifestyle anymore. I can't afford to do that. My mom, she's diabetic. It's just a lot of things that I have to take. I can't do it. And I swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. I can't. I'm done with drugs.
All right. Let me ask you your release plan. Oh, let's talk about your disciplinary reports. Yeah. You have eight tickets.
Yeah.
The most recent ticket is for a fight, and that's after you've taken the Beyond Violence program.
Yeah,
Before that is disobeying a direct order. You have a ticket for intoxication,
yeah.
and and we're talking about that you have some substance abuse needs. So and I'm just going back to 2020. So why do you think you're having so many troubles getting along at the prison and following?
Well, no, it's hard in here. It's very hard in here.
Well, it's not supposed to be easy.
I know.
Yeah.
I get picked on a lot, and the fights that I have gotten, I'm quiet, I stay in my room, I mind my business. And, there's girls that are bullies in here. The last recent fight that I had, girl, she smacked my face. I tried not to retaliate, and it was in the bathroom. I was scared. And I was brushing my teeth and she just attacked me. So I fought back and they called the code and I went to SED. They put me in pending investigation. And yes, I did hit back and I take responsibility for that too. I didn't know what else to do. It was two black girls that were in the bathroom and she was the one that smacked me and her friend was there. I thought the girls were gonna jump me. So my defense was to hit back. And they couldn't really tell who did what first because it was in the bathroom and there's no cameras in the bathroom and the two officers. So like every fight that I did have wasn't me picking the fight. It was me defending myself. I'm not a problem starter in here. I was just trying to get by my time.
Because, it's important when we talk about,
Yes.
we use the term offender change, right?
Yes.
So we want to see how you've progressed in terms of how you handle situations, for you especially, how you handle anger.
Yes.
This charge, you were angry,
Yes.
you were not thinking correctly, you were being reckless. So our job today is to kind of see how you manage those feelings, those behaviors. Yes. What about the intoxication ticket?
So the intoxication ticket was, when I came in here, I signed up for Suboxone. And so since I didn't come in Suboxone, they couldn't put me on it. So the lady approved me and told me that I was able to get on Suboxone 2 weeks before I left. And it was because I told her, my addiction for also, pills and stuff like that. So I also go to NA and I did AA for a little bit. And then I really transferred over to NA because NA is what I really needed. And so when I got up with the two directors and, going to the classes and stuff like that, they approved me, they were gonna put me on it, whatever. And then the lady said, well, we'll figure it out 2 weeks after, 2 weeks before you leave. So, prior to that, I said, okay, well, I can do that. So, I don't know what got into me. One of the girls came in with Suboxone and stuff like that. And I ended up taking a piece of Suboxone. And I guess 8 of the girls got into like a big thing in one of the other buildings. And I guess the COs, locked us down and found some other stuff over there with the girls. So I guess they ended up, telling on us.
I guess I'm missing the point a little bit. You've been incarcerated since 2019. Yeah. And in 2022, you decide to use Suboxone. I just don't know why you felt it.
I was just thinking maybe
helpful. Why it was
no. It was just me not thinking, but it was me also thinking that maybe by me getting that urine, I can actually get on it before the time that I leave. You know what I mean? Because they done it before here, but it was a stupid mistake because it didn't help me out at all. You know what I mean? So
okay. So
it was
thinking through what the consequences of the situation would be.
Right. It was
like if you're testing positive for Suboxone, where did they know you didn't come in with it.
Well, no, they didn't. But
yeah.
So, but I was honest. I was honest with them at the end of the day because I don't lie. I can't be going around the bush lying about stuff like that anyway. So
you do seem to own up.
I always do
the things. All right. So you're talking about you want to go to a halfway house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that you'll look for employment because you haven't worked in a while. So your plan is to look for employment.
Yes.
All right. All right. Any thoughts about getting your GED?
I was trying to get it here, and then COVID came. My teacher, she had a baby, then she left. And then it was just too much commotions. We got raided here for, a person that brought in a lot of drugs. It got shut down for a while. So basically it was like non-functionable. I couldn't focus in school with the right teachers, and then the girls fighting in there all the time, going to codes and stuff like that. So I will do it on the outside. Yes, I will.
So, you have not had you don't have a good track record
Right.
doing well on probation or parole in the community. Your criminal history is basically misdemeanors, but it's a lot of non-compliance too. It's, violation of probation. It's all violation of probation that goes along with the charge. You have one felony. So why do you think that you would do well on parole?
I think because I'm on my meds for a while now, like I'm different. I can't express myself any more than what I have. I'm clear-minded. It's been 5.5 years I've been clean and sober. This is the longest I ever been clean and sober, really, except for that incident. But I'm a different person. I grown up. I got grandkids. Like, I got a family to worry about. My kids need me,
All right. Well, thank you, Ms. Vazquez. I have nothing further.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Paul? No questions? Okay. All right, Ms. Vazquez, I'm happy to hear that you appreciate just how serious this offense was. You displaced so many people. And, what you describe as a loss of paperwork, I'm hoping it's just a poor choice of words, because some people lost lifetime
More than
memories.
this. Yes, I
Right.
know.
More than just paperwork. Okay, yeah.
Yes.
And there's probably a lot of people angry. You
Yeah.
don't want to see you released as a result of this, but PCP will do that to your
Yes.
brain. You will make horrible choices and not think things through. So I hope at the very least you've learned to think through. If I do this, this could be the possible outcome, right? All possible scenarios. I wish you would have taken a more formal drug program myself. How often do you go to meetings there?
We go every Tuesday at 1:30 to 2:30.
Okay, so it's only,
Well,
is it only
that's
once a week?
that's just for the NA. They only hold it once a week.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. And I'm sorry if you mentioned this. Did you have you spoken to a sponsor?
I haven't. They haven't had sponsors here. I think a lot of them. The
Okay.
only sponsor they did have was for for AA. They didn't have a sponsor yet for NA because I think they actually put a new person. The guy that was doing NA was Mr. Milton.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right.
So I'll find a sponsor. I'm not. I'm on to finding somebody to do that. But for now, I'm just going to the groups every day. Every Tuesday, I go
Okay.
from 1:30 to 2:30.
and this new relationship you're in, you're sure that's a good relationship?
Huh?
The new relationship that you're in.
I've been fine with her.
Well, she's got some troubles with the law. Are you aware?
Yeah. Well, kind of. Yes,
mean-
ma'am.
That makes me question your judgment, if I'm being perfectly honest. You need to go out there, do the right thing, focus on yourself and your recovery.
And
You
I'm
can't be
gonna-
distracted by other people's issues with drugs.
you're right, and I'm not going to. She knows. I'm not going. My plan for me is for me and my kids. If she's gonna make that mistake, she's gotta go. I'm not dragging along baggage. I'm sorry. She knows that. I've been here too long and going through hell to get back home. I know she has a bad addiction, and that addiction isn't my addiction, and I'm not even going to pick up any addiction for anybody.
Right, but remember that, well, if you took a program, the first thing you would have learned is people, places, and things.
Right,
You have to
new
be
people,
careful
places,
about the
and things.
people that you surround
Yes.
yourself with.
I
You
know.
can't afford to be surrounded by people who are dealing in drugs,
Right.
all right?
And I'm open. Yes, I know. I've been thinking so hard about this.
Yeah. All right, give us a few minutes to discuss your case. After our deliberation, we'll give you our decision.
Thank you.
Ms. Smith, Mary? A tough one.
It is a very tough one because, you know, I hear a lot of positive things from Ms. Vazquez. I do appreciate right off the top that she took responsibility when, at the time she was arrested.
Yeah.
She, you know, that I think speaks even a little bit more than today. I think she has sort of a superficial understanding of people's losses due to fire, though, when she talks about paperwork. I mean, there's animals,
Yeah.
there's
Right.
family belongings. I guess my biggest concern is that she was heavily using drugs by her own admission when it occurred.
Mhm.
She's a drug score of 4. She has addiction services on her OAP, which she has been unable to take.
Right.
And the last, you know, she hasn't had a program since 2021 and 2022. And she's a short time to end a sentence.
Right.
So if we're being honest, I'm in a quandary. I don't
Yeah.
know whether she would benefit, really for her own personal success in the community, to try and do some type of an addiction services program before she comes out.
Yeah.
I think she is. I'm concerned with the disciplinary effects too.
Mhm.
You know, so there's a lot of good things happening, and then there's a lot of things that sort of negate it, right? You know, the intox ticket is, you know, the explanation is just.
It was a mistake. I didn't mean to make that mistake. I'm sorry.
Well,
And I'm getting my life together.
all right. So please don't interrupt our deliberation. Okay. Thank you.
We need to talk things out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we want you to hear what we have to say. You know, so I am sort of on the fence with her. I do think that Ms. Vazquez, she's doing what she needs to do to address her mental health. I think that is probably first and foremost to her being able to live successfully in the community. But I also, you know, it's hard to overlook the tickets, especially when one just occurred 8 or 9 months ago, the fighting ticket.
Mhm.
And it's hard to overlook that she's a drug and alcohol score of 4 and has not had a program.
Right.
So I am on the fence.
Right. Thank you. Mr. Paul.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm not really on the fence on this. I had the same concern.
Mhm.
She's also approved for community release by DOC.
Yeah.
So I am hopeful that DOC takes a look at this and puts her in some kind of treatment. She has experience before with 3 different agencies. And I trust that she wants to go in the right direction. I trust that DOC with community release will try to help with that. But in terms of getting to suitability for actual parole, that substance use piece needed to be there. It was PCP. It was in 4, and there's nothing there. So it's not to discourage Ms. Vazquez from what she's done and what she's trying to do, but that piece being missing, I can't support.
The charge alone is hard.
It is very
suitable
disturbing.
without all the boxes being checked.
No, definitely.
That's the problem.
And we have a house approval, 5 years of probation to follow, so the services will be there. And I think Ms. Vazquez has to really engage in programming to add to her tool belt, because there certainly are continued poor choices here that we've discussed. All right, reasons for denial: nature and circumstance, poor institutional adjustment, inadequate evidence of offender change.
I would do institutional program participation.
That's what I would do.
She needs addiction services.
Inadequate program, okay, participation. Participation, specifically addiction services, okay.
Yeah.
All right, in the matter of Eladia Vazquez, MA number 383843, I'll move to deny parole for the following reasons: the nature and circumstance of your offense, your poor institutional adjustment with the disciplinary reports, and inadequate program participation, specifically didn't complete an addiction services program. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Ms. Vazquez, we want you to keep working on yourself, okay? Take advantage of the halfway house if you get it and your probation to keep adding to your tool belt.